Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the new Knife Standards RR Station Express. We reviewed the RR Station. This is a more compact, easier to carry version of the RR Station. The OEM on these is Best Tech Knives, and after having plenty of different OEM Best Tech Knives on the channel, they do some amazing work. Definitely a top tier OEM. And I gotta say, right off the bat, this is probably my favorite knife so far that Knife Standards has dropped. And he's dropped some very, very sweet knives. I've had, I think, all of them on the channel so far. Cool thing about these is they are actually available as we speak on his site. I will have the link to his site down below in the description. There are several different variations. However, this is a very limited run. There's only 50 pieces in each variation. So like I said, it's a much more compact, easier to carry knife than the Station, which the RR Station, it wasn't a hard one to carry. But this one is a little slimmer and, like I said, more compact. Coming in at 6.75 inches overall, and it has a 3-inch sheep's foot blade, as you can see there, with a two-tone blade finish. You got a nice vertical satin on your primary grind and a brushed satin on your flats, and then really you have 3 different finishes. And then your fullers here have a blasted finish on both sides. You have a beautiful row of grippy jimping there. If you like jimping, it's fantastic, and it sits exactly where I'd want it to be. The blade steel on this one is Vanex Super Clean. Vanex is definitely in my top 5 favorite steels of all time. So at this point, it holds a great edge. And you don't have to worry about it rusting because it's a nitrogen-based steel. I think it replaces the carbon with nitrogen, and it's almost impossible to rust. Definitely my saltwater fishing knife. I've left saltwater on my quiet carry drift umpteen times, and not once have I had any rust on it. This is going to be an excellent utility blade shape, and being this is his personal prototype, we're not going to be doing the testing today on this, but I've tested the full-size version, and I'm sure they're pretty comparable. In my opinion, this is a perfectly executed sharpening tool right here. So you have a lot of separation from this plunge grind right here. And as you can see, hopefully, this plunge grind is brought all the way back. So if you look right here, I don't know if it's going to focus, but all this is the same thickness. So you can be able to sharpen all the way to right here before it'll even remotely think about widening on you. So that's probably going to be about the life of this blade. Because Vanex, you shouldn't have to sharpen it a ton unless you cut an awful lot every day. The hardness on the Vanex is 60 to 61 HRC. I don't know exactly where that range is, but I think that's about where you want it to be. And the beautiful thing about this one is even though it's a short grind height, you have a very deep hollow grind on here. Very deep. Let me see if I can show you this. Look how thin it is near that tip. Ooh, I bet you this thing is a slicing machine. This particular one, I just measured it, comes down to around 9 thousandths. 9 thousandths behind the edge. That is fantastic. Especially for a compact knife. You wouldn't be buying this as a hard use knife. I mean, you could, I guess, if you want to, but I don't consider it to be a hard use knife at all, especially this size. So this is going to be great for your very fine, intricate cutting. It's going to be a very powerful cutter because you got a straight edge. So it's going to have full power from heel to tip on this knife. So if you do a lot of breaking down of cardboard, this blade shape's going to be great. The only thing this one's not going to do well on, unless you lift it up onto something, is a flat cutting surface. Because in order to get any of that edge down, you're going to have to get this up. You don't have any belly to work with, which is fine. You know, every knife has its drawbacks and its strengths. And this one's strengths is going to be in-hand cutting. And using that tip, it's going to be great at those things. Let's check out the action on this one. So you have dual thumb studs. You can see there, they're nice and comfortable. They stick up a little bit past the scales. Fantastic. Riding on ceramic cage bearings, a shake shut dropper, and the fullers are nice and sharp, the ledges, so I can easily reverse flick it off the fuller. You can reverse flick off the thumb studs if you want. I just find it to be easier and a lot more satisfying to reverse flick off those fullers. You can get a lot more power behind it, should I say, And then just the opposite with the thumb studs, and the thumb flick work the best, in my opinion, with the thumb studs. Very well tuned detent for both. With a design like this, you can kind of increase the tension on the detent a little bit, so you have a nice positive flip on the thumb studs, and then it's easy to reverse flick because you can come down low on the fuller to do a reverse flick. While you can still manage to do a nice slow roll if you wanted to, and if you wanted, you might be able, yeah, you could, but you'd have to be careful. Grab the fuller and do a pinch drop. The blade stock, if I didn't mention earlier, is 0.13, so that's even more impressive that they were able to get this down to around 9 thousandths behind the edge. Let's take a look at these. Fairly neutral handle here. So you have a titanium frame. This one has a black washed coating on it, and then you have a signature squared RR pivot that is perfectly flush there. Yeah, I'm trying to close my eyes. I cannot tell where that starts and stops. All the models have fat carbon covers on them. I don't know if this one's Black Dunes or I don't know. I can't remember which one this is. And then if you can see right there on the inside of the frame, it says Knife Standards. The transition from carbon fiber to tie. Eyes closed once again. I could not tell you where that happens. Very nice tight fitment, no gaps anywhere. Yeah, Best Tech always does a great job. You got a chamfer going all the way around, and then a large chamfer on the side that's going to give it a contoured feeling in hand. And then you have a smaller chamfer on this side that wraps around all the way around. I like the effect that the large chamfer does with the carbon fiber. You get that wavy look to it. You have all Torx TA construction, and being this is a squared pivot right here, that means it's a captured pivot, so you don't have to worry about it free spinning. This one has all black hardware. Being this is a compact knife, a fairly streamlined knife, and then you have all this milling of the titanium for the carbon fiber. Brings the weight on this one to 2.4 ounces. That's outstanding. It's so lightweight in the hand. Not only do they have all this milling to house this carbon fiber, there's also pocketing on the titanium frame. Look at that. It's about as much pocketing as you can get. That's drastically bringing the weight down this one. Your balance point is perfection right there in that choil area, making this one feel even lighter than it actually is. It's going to be very nimble in hand. Now, even though I didn't get to do my testing, I did get one of my pine boards and just kind of push into it just to try to get a feel for the ergos. And it feels like they're going to be pretty darn comfortable. Like I said, you have a neutral handle and you have the wire pocket clip. I can feel the wire pocket clip, but it doesn't feel like it's going to become an issue. You also have a flat spot right there to choke up. The pull grips can be good. And if for some reason you want to do the reverse grip, you can do that also. Like I said, this has a deep carry wire pocket clip that's tip up, left or right hand carry, as you can see there. You have flow through construction, 2 hourglass standoff. So if you want to blow it out with compressed air, get a Q-tip in there, you could easily do that. This is considered a bolster lock, as you see here, and it does have a hardened stainless steel lock insert. The lockup on this one, I'd say, is around 40% or so. And then access to the lock bar, even though it's pretty much flush with the show side scale, you got this nice chamfer here and here on these pretty thick pieces of tie right here. I can easily get my thumb in there. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. And it's nice and comfortable. Lockup, like a bank vault. I thought I would be able to at least flex something. Yeah, nothing. Nothing at all. Great lockup on this. Now time for some quick size comparisons. It's a little smaller than both the Hogue Ritter Mini RSK and the Chris Reeve knives, small Sabinza 31. And it's a little smaller than the Ontario Rat Model 2, and it's a little bigger than the Benchmade Mini Grip. It's also smaller than the Spyderco Para 3, and it's just a hair shorter than the Quiet Carry Drift. It's also a tad smaller than the Demco Shark Cub, and it's just about identical in length to the Monterey Bay Knives Slayback. And then you could also say the Sea Otter, because those two are exactly the same length. Now, being that no knife's perfect, what are my nitpicks and complaints? I had to be just nitpicky here because it's a very, very well-made knife. Only thing I could be nitpicky on is I could say I don't like the blasted finish inside the fullers, but I usually say that because I don't want my knives to rust because I live in a high humid environment. But this is Invenix Super Clean. So besides aesthetics, that doesn't really matter. But other than that, this is a pretty flawless knife here. It's a very well-made premium knife. It's going to come with a premium price tag. I can't remember offhand. I think they're in the $300 range, somewhere in that ballpark. But like I said, if you're interested in picking up one of these, I'm going to have the link to his shop down below in the description. You can go see all the different variations. There's several different ones to choose from, plus some of his older models available on his site as well. I didn't realize he had some. And if I can manage to come up with the cash for this, I will be picking up one of these, no doubt. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. I hope every one of y'all is having a fantastic day. And remember, keep your blades sharp, smile more.